Why are fighting games hard to learn is an almost perpetual question within the FGC. I think that question can be answered with another question. What makes fighting games fun at an entry level? This to me is quite a tough question to answer with fighting games, so let's look at 2 other games for some ideas. In Gears of War, you move around real fast, you get kills, and go on crazy sprees of "I'm sick, fuck you kid." Shooters also reward you with banners and statistics to tell you, "Oh look, you're doing fucking sick." In League of Legends, you get gold, kills, and go on huge power spikes through items and leveling. This helps you to do more damage and make you feel more powerful, even if you're falling behind. League of Legends also rewards you with a load of account accolades and stats to make it so that you can see all the things that you're doing right, even if you're losing. Now if we go back to fighting games, the things that are immediately rewarding are doing cool combos and winning. Whilst fighting games do have stats to keep a player interested, they're often buried away. There's also not as many smaller mechanics that are being presented to players as indicators of progress. When it comes to the entry level loop of fighting games, this is what a player is seeing, and there's not a lot to keep them hooked. But as many of you watching know, it's not about what's on the surface that keeps you interested. As someone who's more into fighting games, you're probably more interested in the idea of mind games, optimizing combos, finding incredible okizeme, breaking down matchups, optimizing defense, applying strategy, identification of mental states, conditioning. But these are ideas that are interesting to the person that wants to learn. To you, the learning is the entertainment. You're more interested in the building process of a railroad to success as opposed to the success itself. When we look back at the other games, they do a lot of subtle things to encourage good decision making within you. I just got gold for killing this creep and so my score went up, therefore I'm going to kill more creeps. I just got these kills and so my score went up. And oh look, it just so happens that them kills made it so that the point is open, and so now I can cap that and make it so that my score goes up even more. These games make it so that the decisions that lead to victory are rewarded immediately and independently, thus teaching the player at a subconscious level. And so with that, we should have a basic idea of what makes fighting games fun on the surface, landing combos and getting wins. But in doing so, we've also answered why fighting games are hard to learn. They don't make it so that micro decisions that win you a match are as obvious. So how do we make it so that a player can go into the realm of finding value in deeper level ideas that aren't presented directly in the game? I'm going to break this up into 2 parts. What the game devs can do and what we as teachers and content creators can do. Based on statistics, you're likely to tune out around this time, so let's just get to what we can do as a community. When playing with people, you need to create a positive feedback loop of things that aren't immediately obvious to them. When you tell someone, "nice combo," you're basically telling them, "that combo was good, do that again." So if someone's on your block and they didn't get a hit in, but they were applying pressure, you need to hit them with the "nice pressure." In their mind, without that positive feedback loop, the only thing that they're going to see from that interaction is, "dang, I didn't get in." But by giving them that complementary mix-up, we'll at least make it so that it triggers something that makes them go, that was alright, that was cool. The same can be said for defense. In fact, for how long it takes most entry-level players to develop defense, it should be rewarded more. Hell, I've been playing for 4 years and I still don't have a defense. I also think that we should work towards making guides a little bit smaller. The guides that the FGC puts out are actually excellent, well researched, and you can learn a lot from them. However, if I'm brand new, I'm not going to take in the majority of that information. If I do take anything from it, it's going to be the big flashy combo, which 90% of the time is going to be the least important bit of the guide. I think the solution to this is to break down the guides into smaller individual videos, something that's a bit more bite-sized, so that someone like you or me can take away as much information from as many videos as we want. But for someone that's new, or someone that just wants to take 5 minutes and go, "I wonder what this Julia player does," they can pick a video and start learning from there. The best example of a community that already does this would probably be TF2. Many of them have full weapon guides, but the way that TF2 works makes it so that them weapons are tools as part of a core kit. But they can be taken as pieces of content as a collective, or they can be taken as pieces of content independent. This helps to make it so that when you search for a TF2 guide, you're not immediately bombarded with information all at once. It allows you to take it at your own pace, which leads me to the last little suggestion. I think we need to create more content that accounts for different paces. When trying to dive into fighting games at a higher level, you will almost immediately be bombarded with as much information as possible. Often when I'm watching content from the perspective of new players, I can't help but wonder how many new ideas were just presented to me at once. Let's look at this clip from Blasted Salami, for example.
With the quickest possible input, Party Crasher comes out in a lightning fast 12 frames, has a fat hitbox, and can also go under certain small highs like jabs.
This is one of the first search results for Julia, and in that very brief clip you had to understand spatial control, frame data, hitboxes, frame advantage, evasion, and notation. Now, this isn't a bad thing, far from it. This is actually an excellent guide, but it's aimed at a very high level, which again isn't bad, but it's a problem when almost every single guide is aimed at this level. If we had more guides like the ones on the level of Blasted Salami and some at a more simple level, or maybe some at the same high level as Blasted Salami but takes more time to explain, I think it would be a lot healthier for every game. A good example of the last suggestion would be JDCR's video on the one jab. It's not perfect in that it doesn't explain plus frames and spacing, but it's more bite-sized and at least makes sure that the person leaves with the majority of the information that they need. That's what I think we need from teachers and content creators that are seeking to educate, but we also just need more content of people enjoying the game. As much as tournament footage is fantastic, I think that there's a severe lack of content from people just having a good time with the game. If we look at something like lobby shenanigans from Lythero, I think there's a lot that a viewer can take from it that isn't necessarily educational, but they still learn. Just the concept of reads or bullshit that you just weren't expecting. Something to show people that the entertainment doesn't have to come from the victory screen. And now for development, or none of you watching. I think that we should probably have a system kind of like how Halo 2 works. In Halo 2, there's a lot of badges for context-sensitive things. You get to see the collection of what you did at the end of the match. I think that just having a counter for things like counter hits, or lows, or overheads, things like average combo damage, or average combo length, just something that's very quantitative that people can kind of latch onto and be like, yeah, this is my stat, and show to other people. This also ties into account accolades. My big problem at the moment is that account accolades almost exclusively refers to ranks. Customizable costumes, HUD, or even stages would probably go a massive way in keeping your players invested. Also tours and campaigns, just things to make it so that your player is more encouraged to explore more. And that's all I've got. I made this video in a day, and so I don't really have an outro for this shit. Cheers, I'm gonna go to bed now.